Hey folks, my name is Dale. Welcome back to Talk Dealership Service. If you'll notice, I still haven't got all my things put up behind me here, but that's all right. Today, I want to talk more about key profit indicators as it relates to the service department and how it relates holistically to your dealership as a whole. So often we have the dividing line between sales, parts, and service. But today I want to show you the importance of congruency between all of those and how when all the moving parts are working together, that you can have a process that is customer driven, supports retention, and creates profitability in your service department. So if that's interesting to you, stay tuned. We're about to get started. All right, we're going to talk about two KPIs today, effective labor rate and hours per RO. Both are a driving indicator of how successful your dealership service department is going to be. I want to kind of build a scoreboard for you. Hopefully, a lot of your dealers are in 20 groups, and hopefully you know where you stand in the composite with the other 19 dealers that are in your group. There's an area in the composite called best in class. And I'm going to assume for sake of conversation that's not you. Hope it is, but just for this video, it's not. Hours per RO. I'm going to set a low water mark at say 2 hours per RO. If you're customer pay, mind you, if you're below that, then there's a lot of work you and I need to do. If your effective labor rate is not greater than your posted door rate, there's a lot of work me and you've got to do. And you may wonder what drives hours per RO. And the simple truth is just about everything. I've been hearing really across the nation so many dealers talking about 2 and 3 week backlogs on appointments and can't get to a customer till next month and yada, yada, yada. And if you're telling customers, ma'am or sir, I can't get to you this month, if you would this time, please go to the shop down the street and call me back in a couple of months. And if I'm caught up, we'd love to have your business. I hope that's not the situation you're in, and I hope the heck that's not what you're saying. Because when we take a customer and try to fit them into our business model, that's going to fail more times than it doesn't. The truth is, we as a dealer have got to fit our schedule into the customers. That might mean opening at 6 a.m. It might mean closing at 9 o'clock at night. It might mean having, instead of 3 service advisors, 4 or 5, or increasing your capacity in the shop. A lot of people say, I'm struggling to find techs. I want to simplify that just a little bit for you. I know in a dealership that I was visiting today, they had like 6 line techs, A techs, but they were really suffering in the C and D techs, people that could just do needed oil services, tire rotations and balances, alignments, maintenance, things that we would discover on a multi-point inspection. That's an area that you need entry-level techs. And then you would take that entry-level tech and put them with a line tech for, say, 30 days and let the line tech kind of oversee them. And then you can start growing those D techs into a C tech, into a B tech, and maybe 4 or 5 years from now, you've got another line tech. All that is possible. So when you feel like that you can't find capacity, maybe you're looking for it the wrong way. Maybe it's not an A tech that you need. It might simply be a C and D tech. And if you want to find those A techs without growing them, be the best place in your area to work. That means low turnover, taking care of your people, protecting your people from market shifts. There's so many things we could talk about when it comes to taking care of your key players. So that's kind of let's just say that's the genesis of winning the game. We've got to know the score. We got to know where we stand up. So the drivers to hours per RO. Number one, customer brings in They've given you their concern, and hopefully the cause and correction information comes back to the advisor in a timely enough fashion that when you make your phone call to them, that you've increased your ability to close it. Customer brings their car on a Monday, and it's Friday before you get back to them. They might buy from you this time, but they probably won't buy from you next time. So that's just something that I want you to just kind of keep in mind. Also, on hours per RO, you've got to have a solid, fluid, multi-point inspection process that's adhered to 100% of the time, without fail, no exception. If you've got that in place, then you're not at 2 hours per RO or less. You're at 2 hours per RO and above. So there's you something else to take a look at. Where am I? A multi-point inspection should be done by a C or D tech way before the car gets in line for the line tech or an A tech. That way, the service advisor has got the multi-point inspection in their hand. They're not calling the customer at this point. They've got the multi-point inspection in their hand. And then that way, when your tech sends up the needed correction, then you're able to put the two together, make one phone call. And that phone call might go something like this. Hey, Mr. Smith, this is Dale from the Ford store. Have you got a minute to talk about your car? Sure. Well, I'm glad you brought your car into us today. I figured out what's causing your coolant leak. It just happens to be the radiator. And if you remember, I mentioned to you that I was going to have my tech take a look around, and if he saw anything that might be an immediate concern, I would let you know. Well, I'm glad he did, because your front brakes are down to 1 millimeter. Thank goodness we caught them before they got into the rotors. So if I could replace your radiator today and your front brakes, you're looking at $790.50, and I can have it done by 5 o'clock. Would it be all right to go ahead and get started on that? Now, you could polish that up, and I'm always an advocate of role play. When you got an advisor that's just really getting ready to make a phone call to a customer, I highly encourage, whether it's a service manager, a porter, another service advisor, role play that phone call. It only takes a minute, but role play the phone call. Try to get yourself polished and ready, because if everything is done right, you followed the road to the sale, you've had a good write up, your tech got to it in a timely fashion, and you're able to call the customer same day, your chances of closing that complete sale, I'm going to guess, are better than 90 to 95%. That, my friends, drives your hours per RO. So we've got a scoreboard. Whether you have an NADA composite in your 20 group or not, here's the scoreboard. 2 hours. That's our average. If you're above it, then we're climbing to the top. If you're below it, you're not going to make the playoffs. Effective labor rate. If it's not greater than your posted door rate, we're below average. We're not going to make the playoffs. We've got to keep running drills. We've got to keep training our players. There's so many things that we've got to do. But for this video, I wanted to give you a scoreboard to look at. So there's a couple of things to play with. 2 hours, greater than your posted door rate. Hone in on your multi-point inspection process. Role play, role play, role play, role play. And for dang sure, be careful when you tell your customer you're 2-3 weeks out from even being able to accept an appointment. Because down the road, that's going to come back to haunt you in a big way. Because those customers you sent away, I got a feeling wherever they landed, they like where they're at. And if that's the case, you lose the game forever, and you really hurt your ability to get back into the trade cycle and have that customer purchase another vehicle from your dealership. All right, that's enough for one day. Talk Dealership Service. I'm going to post again our Facebook page. I would love some interaction with you. I want to hear your concerns. I want to hear your ideas. Let's talk some best practices. Subscribe to my channel if you hadn't already. Share me with your colleagues in this business. And until next time, hey, it's been great.